Hello. Have you ever been in a situation where you have a very important communication with somebody, and as you're about to say certain words, you know those words are not going to get you where you want to be at the end of that communication, but at the same time, the words are coming out of your mouth. You're saying, "Don't go there," but you go there, and the words not only may not get you what you want, but at best be neutral and sometimes even make the situation worse. So if we know these words are not going to help us, yet we say them anyway, what's going on? Why do we say that and not something else? I believe that as people, we are innately good. We mean well, we have good intentions, but sometimes we just don't have the tools and knowledge of concepts that will help us in our communication. Communication is what makes relationships. Relationships are based in communication, and the quality of the communication we have in relationship is what makes the quality of the relationship. When you multiply the relationships, then you have a social world. Our social worlds can be our communities, our families, our schools, our workplace. Any place that we're in with other people is our social world. So the goal is to have more effective communication, to have better quality relationships, which give us better quality social worlds. But somehow we end up in what is called unwanted repetitive patterns, or URPs, ERPs. We end up in these patterns and they're just habits. So what we want to do is interrupt those unwanted repetitive patterns and create better patterns to give us better relationships. Sounds good? How do we do that? The first step is self-awareness. We need to be more deeply aware of what really makes us tick. What's really critically important to us at the end of the day? What are our essential needs? And then the nice to haves. What are our values, our beliefs? Many of us think we know ourselves, and sometimes we do. However, I believe it's life work. You don't just one day say, okay, check that off my list. I guess I know myself now. Yes, you know yourself up until that point, maybe a certain percentage, maybe not the full 100%. There's always something to learn because as we interact with other people, ideally we learn from those interactions. This is what helps and this is what develops self-awareness. After having a particular interaction with a person, it's a really good practice to reflect on that afterwards. That means to ask ourselves a series of prompts, such as, how did that go? What worked well? What did I do? What happened that really met the goal I had for that interaction, for that particular communication with that person? What did I do well so I can learn from that and build on that for the next time, include that as a best practice for myself to use. Okay. What did not work as well as I thought it might? What happened? What's the reaction I got that I may not have wanted or that maybe even surprised me? What else can I do differently going forward that would give me a different kind of reaction? The kind of reaction I was anticipating and I want to further the relationship more constructively. Self-awareness also means having an awareness of why we have the impact on other people that we do. Very often, I know it happens to me, it may happen to you as well, we get a reaction from another person that we were surprised. Like, what happened? Why did they react that way? I had good intentions. What I meant was X. Somehow they either didn't perceive what I wanted or what I thought was important really had a different reaction from the other party. So in addition to the self-awareness, now we also need to have other awareness, which means I need to understand as much about that other party as I possibly can. I need to understand what's important to that person. I need to understand the values that person has. I need to understand how to craft my communication in a way that I am heard the way I want to be heard, and that person also feels acknowledged and heard, to further develop our relationship in a very positive way. Self-awareness, other awareness, and the third part of that triangle would be context awareness. What is unique about the particular situation that we are in, where we are in interaction, where we are communicating with another? Our context differs, if you think about it, when we're with our family, when we're with friends, when we're in the workplace, when we're in school, when we're in a public arena. Our behaviors, our expectations may alter depending on that context. The context influences who we are and how we behave in that situation with the other party. I may interact differently with that person in a different context than in the context we're in now. So self, other, context awareness are very critical. Critical also because there are critical moments in our interactions. These critical moments can also be referred to as turning points because they may turn the flow of where the communication is going. Every communication, which is every interaction we have, even if we're nonverbal or non-communicating, that's a choice, and that is a kind of communication. Every interaction sets the foundation for the next interaction. It sets the foundation for the quality of the relationship. Critical moments or turning points are some of these interactions that are more important than others, that carry more weight, have more influence in what happens subsequently. If I can identify those critical moments, then I can sort of do like in a movie. You know how sometimes the director will freeze the frame and the main character runs around, gets in position, or gets other people in position, or puts other props in position, and then the director rolls again? That's what we're doing in our communication. So going back to our reflective practice, if we reflect and develop that skill of being able to understand ourselves and grow, then we can also do that in the moment. We don't have to necessarily wait until after. Now, this happens in split seconds. It's not as though you're saying, everybody, okay, stop, let me think. What should I be doing in this situation? No, it's happening in your head where you're taking a meta perspective to your interaction with another party saying, okay, where do I want this to go? Critical moment, or this person's reacting differently. What did I prepare to do in this situation? If I have that scenario as a possibility in my mind before I even enter into the communication, I'm more likely able to take a different path to get back on track to where I want to go. So these critical moments are very important to identify. If we don't have the self and other awareness, the context awareness, if we haven't prepared, it's very difficult to be effectively in the moment and think on our feet about what we need to do. Why is this important? It's important because I feel that I want to live a happy life. I want to be in a safe environment. I want to have fun. And you know what? When I watch the news, there are many instances of really wonderful things happening locally and around the world. And I want to be able to learn from those wonderful things. At the same time, when I watch the news, I see many things that are not going well. In fact, they're disastrous. But I believe it doesn't take systemic change to happen all at once. It takes each individual to contribute his or her worth to the situation, and eventually we develop a critical mass of people communicating effectively that shift the dynamics of what's happening locally, in our communities, and in our world. Every interaction, we co-create something. Let's make that something better than what it is today. We have that responsibility and we have that ability to do that. We have a great sense of agency that we need to discover more of and build on that to really make a difference. And that's what I want to talk about at TEDx Bushwick. Thank you.